Alright everybody, and welcome back to game number 3 of this exciting series between, spawning up here is the purple Zerg player. We have Acer Scarlett and her opponent who just tied the series up 1-1. Coming in as the blue Protoss pieces, we have NaNiwa. So this map is Daybreak, for those of you who don't know. This is from the BWC. And I'm just going to take this little introductory period to go through the usual stuff that I would at the end of the game, so I don't have to bore you with it afterwards. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, and comment. Share it to your friends. If you have replays that you want casted, follow the information below and shoot them off to me. I would love to do any replays that you have lying around that you would want casted. I try and release content every Tuesday and or Wednesday, so definitely keep that in mind. Both players showing some good skills in this match. It's going to come down here to this ace match to see whether Scarlett or NaNiwa can actually close out the series. Scarlett going for an early pool, well, earlier than normal, so 14 pool, maybe 14 hatch after this. This is another one of those maps where it's pretty easy to get a third. I mean, this third is kind of vulnerable, I will admit. And my dog is killing esports as per usual. Yeah, he's killing his monkey as well. Ooh, NaNiwa. This is kind of an interesting build coming out of him. 2 gas geysers very, very early. This could be a lot of things. This could be, I would say, an early blink play. This could be another attempt at an immortal century all in. It could be any number of things. Cybernetics core now coming down from him as well. We did see a 14 pool, 14 hatch come out of Scarlett too. So right now Scarlett's going to be ahead in the base race, but I don't think NaNiwa cares. He probably has something very, very specific in mind. Scarlett, though, is going to come in here and more than likely see all of this. This is not good for NaNiwa. And this is what I was talking about earlier as well. NaNiwa with only 2 guys on each geyser. So you get essentially the production of 1.5 geysers out of this. A lot of gas really, really early, making it really easy to tech to higher tier units really quickly. Some Zerglings coming out from Scarlett. Did Scarlett actually see... No, Scarlett didn't scout the gases. That's going to be... I'm going to almost say that was a huge mistake for Scarlett. She might have something very specific planned, but to not even attempt to go in and scout your opponent's gases at this point, not that great of a thing. Some Zerglings out here. She does see NaNiwa did not go for a Forge Fast Expand, although he could. Off of this, he could throw down the Forge and go 1 gate expand. Scarlett with the second Overlord. Now this Overlord more than likely is going to see... yes, she does see both of them. Does she click on them? Yes, she did. She actually saw exactly what was going on there. NaNiwa now dumping 2 guys into each geyser and a robo. So again... it's a 1 gate expand, so pretty typical NaNiwa at this point. 1 gate or FFE or die trying, it seems. Third going down for Scarlett at the moment. And right now both of these players actually playing fairly standard for this matchup as of November. I mean, it's February now, but I mean, look at the time frame, look at where we've come. Most people are playing HOTS and cheesing on the beta. That's the other big thing. It's kind of like scumbag player at that point with a Forge going down in the natural of NaNiwa. Playing in the beta and get cheesed. We joke a lot about the scumbag beta players where it gets the beta, cheeses. Pretty sweet. Some Ling's actually going to come up here and poke around. Warp Prism coming out for NaNiwa. Now it's going to be interesting to see if he decides to go for some sort of an immortal drop early on, or if he decides to... just kind of work with things as is like he did last time. He played very, very well last time. Very, very scrappy. Like I said, that was in a lot of ways Scarlett's game to lose. And it might have just been a composition loss. It seemed like at times she was struggling to make units. And while she was maxed out, the engagements were never to her favor. So, you know, realistically, it could have been any number of things. So these Lings are going to see the Warp Prism from NaNiwa coming across the map. They're going to just kind of run underneath it to see where it's headed to. The third from Scarlett is now done. Scarlett, if we look at the workers tab, 44 workers to 31 right now. So nothing too out of the ordinary in terms of worker counts, considering Scarlett's on 3 bases to NaNiwa's 2 at this point. Another gateway going down. So we're sitting on 2 gateways for NaNiwa as well as... Okay, so NaNiwa is actually just going to Was that a miss rally by NaNiwa? No, it looks like he's controlling it. Maybe he was just a scout. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, don't lose that, NaNiwa. Please, dear God, do not lose that. I remember back in the day when these were fragile. It was a pain to lose those 200 minerals. A lot of lings, and NaNiwa going to actually just double back with this Warp Prism. So it might just be for the scare tactics here with NaNiwa. Trying to scare Scarlett into staying in her base. That does happen. You know, at times you hear casters talk a lot about mind games. It's very, very true, very, very prevalent, and that's one case of it where your opponent's actually just kind of scared. We didn't see any defensive measures out of Scarlett. A macro hatchery is going down, as well as level 1 missile attacks. We're going to see more roaches here eventually, as per usual. What Zerg player doesn't build them? Double gas down here in the natural, and no gas over here at the third for Scarlett. So NaNiwa right now doing everything pretty standard. The Warp Prism still just hovering around, causing problems. Scarlett actually playing this very well and not getting freaked out. NaNiwa, on the other hand, throwing down the Robotics Bay, getting a Colossus out at this point as well as 3 Immortals. So this is going to be a pretty scary push when it does come out from NaNiwa. Throwing down 2 more gateways. Scarlett needs to get on roach production pretty much right now. If you look at the production tab, we do see 10 roaches in production for Scarlett. A bunch of lings still controlling the map for Scarlett, and that's kind of, I think that's kind of what this was for. Eventually it'll be for micro, but I think at least for the time being it is definitely for some map control for NaNiwa so he can get some scouting information, because I don't believe he actually scouted his opponent beforehand. And here comes the push from NaNiwa again. We see a lot of sentries, some immortals, no anti-air. So this would just be a straight-up build order loss for NaNiwa if there was a Spire out on the field at 10 minutes, which we have seen. So right now, this push coming across the map, I don't know. Ooh, that's still a handful of units for Scarlett. Able to deal with this. 144 to 88 supply right now. A couple more Stalkers getting warped in for NaNiwa. The last time we saw this, NaNiwa was able to come back from it. The first game, he ended up losing due to, I would just say, a build order loss. Scarlett had everything she needed. Infestors popped out the right time. This time, NaNiwa going to be able to push up the ramp. The Lings with the flanking attack, and the Roaches even. Good surround by Scarlett. She's going to focus fire. She gets 1 Immortal. Oh, some micro. That micro. By the power of micro. But that is a huge concave for Scarlett. And NaNiwa looking like he is going to lose this push, because that's a lot of roaches and pulled drones back here. Nice little warp in by NaNiwa, but again, I don't think it's going to be enough. Those are Zealots. But if that Colossus goes... Oh, but the Immortals are going down too, even with all that micro. Oh, NaNiwa, you lost your Immortals. This is a very, very sad day for NaNiwa. Losing his whole fucking army. And literally losing his entire army. He escaped with 1 Colossi. That Colossi is an instructor Colossi, but still he did escape just barely. For NaNiwa back here at home, we do have another Colossi coming out, but that's literally it. This Colossi, oh, NaNiwa trying to hide it, not able to do so. 56 supply to 116, now 118 to 60. NaNiwa. You just should have stopped pushing. You should have just stopped seeing that girl. Should have just stopped. Scarlett doing a good job of keeping the creep up here. NaNiwa throwing another pylon just for some scouting purposes. This actually probably was an all-in by NaNiwa. Because that's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gateways. Yeah, there's no way NaNiwa can produce off of that. I mean, he is NaNiwa and his bases are fully saturated, but no range on his Colossi. So that was, it was supposed to be just a no range push, which is pretty standard, but he kind of overextended. So at this point, right now, everything solely in the favor of Scarlett. You know, the supply tells the tale in a lot of ways, unless you're playing a Zerg player, but I mean, even here, 66 drones to 53 workers, or 53 probes. If we look at the workers killed tab, 9 killed for NaNiwa on that engagement, not that many, and oh my god, he actually has vision of that. Or she, god, I'm sorry, Scarlett. Oh, and we do see Contaminate holding up on those upgrades. Scarlett, I'm really sorry. I'm used to referring to everyone in the StarCraft field as he, so if it just popped out the way, I sincerely apologize. You're a fantastic player. I love watching you play. Fourth going down for Scarlett. She is definitely ahead at this point. I mean, that sounds really dumb to say, but I mean, look at the supply, look at what's out on the field. At this point, I would be... Well, I shouldn't say I'd be surprised if NaNiwa came back, because, good God, let's think back to game number 2. 3 Colossi out on the board now for NaNiwa. Opening that production tab again, we do see a Spire on the way. So Scarlett, again, just going to try and tech towards those Broodlords. A pretty standard path for most Zergs to take. 158 to 103 the supply right now. So Scarlett is no longer doubling her opponent's army. Or supply, wow, oh my God. If we look at the income tab, still definitely a win for Scarlett at this point. She is doing a fantastic job of keeping drone production up, all of that fun jazz. Looking back here in the units tab, we do see 75, so she's only 5 off of the norm. That's not too terribly bad for 15 minutes into a game where you actually had to sacrifice some of your drones. This big army from Scarlett moving out across the map now. Ling's going to soak up some damage, going to try and deny it. So Scarlett going for actually the war of attrition here. Getting a cancel from NaNiwa. There is a fairly big army there. That's a lot of Colossi, but there are also 5 Corruptors in production, and not that many Stalkers out on the board. So right now, Scarlett basically having the run of the map, doing whatever she wants, wherever she wants. Some Spine Crawlers thrown down here at her 4th. And there we go with another big warping of Stalkers. So NaNiwa actually waiting until he has enough money to go ahead and throw down all of those Stalkers at once. Scarlett going to come in now again, trying to get that cancel. And NaNiwa biting on this. And actually canceled his Nexus just to do it. And I think right now, NaNiwa feels like he's up against this wall. We do have a bunch of Corruptors out on the board. If we look at that, we have 10 Corruptors out on the field right now for Scarlett. Scarlett probably going to start working on Broodlord production here shortly. And some more good force fields by NaNiwa. Some Blink Stalker is going to come in here and take down these Corruptors. I don't think it's enough, though. The Fungal Growths go off on the Stalkers. They're stuck in place. The Infested Terrans come out. There's not that many Corruptors left, but there's only 2 Colossi. And Scarlett smashing through the front of NaNiwa, taking out that Warp Prism. There's not that much left. She can just continue to push, taking down the last Colossi. Right there, there's the Corruption, and it goes down. So now these Corruptors can solely be used in NaNiwa with the GG. So Scarlett taking the series 2-1. This is why she did so well in the BWC. So with that, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.